Don't tell us about Nigerians. You even go to an extent of saying Nigerians gave us money for our liberation. It's true. From the civil servants of Nigeria, monies were deducted from them to support the liberation of South Africa. So today we are in a comfortable place. We say we don't want them. The EFF agrees that we don't want undocumented people in South Africa.
On behalf of South Africa, thank you, Nigeria.
Equally important, as you know, I have been in prison for 27 years. Many governments, many organizations, many individuals called for my release. Loudest in that call was the government and people of Nigeria. Here of the government and people of Nigeria. Nigeria has given us a lot of financial and material support. They have assisted us not only in the form of funds, and in that respect, they have been among the most generous donors to our cause.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ben, Architect Ben, and today I just want to make a little sense. You know, carrying the green passport, that's the Nigerian green passport, and waving the green, white, and green flag should be one of the proudest moments of every Nigerian, or the greatest moment for every Nigerian, or the most impactful moment for every Nigerian under normal circumstances. I use the word normal circumstances, all intentions and carefulness. Under normal circumstances, that should be the highlight of every Nigerian, because every Nigerian holding that flag or holding a passport should naturally, ordinarily be respected across the world, be it at the airport, seaport, whatever land borders. But unfortunately, the politicians have made it a point of duty to make sure that doesn't happen. The politicians have, made it impossible for that to happen. One, and secondly, some unscrupulous Nigerians have also made it a point also for that not to happen because of their conduct across the world. I use the word under normal circumstances because Nigeria in itself is a very great nation. A nation of wonderful people, beautiful people, diverse culture, beautiful landscape, and above all, Nigeria always shows working when it comes to brotherhood in Africa. Nigeria was never called Giant of Africa because of its geographical size or the number of its people. No, we are never called Giant of Africa because of these two factors, our landmass or our population. No. Nigeria by itself has always shown working wherever the need arise. I can count them because they are countless. We are a big brother indeed, not just by word. Now, going back to when they gave back to me in the 70s, coming up to the 80s and the 90s, I know how much Nigeria stood for every African nation that needed help. Whenever the call was called upon Nigeria to intervene in anything, be it cash-wise or by manpower, we always deliver, more than deliver. I remember vividly, but before I come to that remembrance, the worst thing that's happened to Nigeria today is our educational sector, where they removed history from our curriculum. The Gen Zs don't know much about our history today because I don't know either by omission or commission. The Nigerian system decided not to let them know our history or the history of what Nigeria stood for or what Nigeria has done for people in Africa. And I don't know why that stood. I don't know who approved that kind of horrible curriculum that history should be taken out. Because if history is still being taught in schools today, I think probably some of the Gen Zs will have understood where we are coming from and where we are today. Now, going back to my remembrance now, I remember vividly during the apartheid years. Is it musicians? Is it artists? Is it the common man on the street? Everybody stood with one voice in Nigeria and stood firm behind South Africans, the black South Africans, and fought tooth and nail against apartheid. I remember very well, the great legend, Sonny Okosun, Baba Fela, they all sang songs, revolutionary songs against apartheid. They lent their voices to fighting for the South African people. Because why? They want apartheid to be abolished at all costs. Was it money? Nigeria spent so much money fighting that cause. Nigeria staked her name against the Western world because why? They were standing for South Africa. My parents paid money from their salaries to aid South Africa. Myself, when I was in secondary school in the early 90s, late 80s and the early 90s, I remember Abuja International Conference Center, not the new one, the old International Conference Center that is standing by the new International Conference Center. I remember we went there. I was in Abuja then. I was in school in Abuja then, and they called all secondary schools students to come to the conference center, and we were asked to donate money. I mean, like we did it like offering. We gave cash, not promises, not vows. We gave money like offerings in that conference center. Students from our stipend, our pocket money, so our parents gave to us. No matter how small, we gave offerings. Why? It was called Namibia Solidarity Fund. I don't know those of us who knew it then. We contributed. And so today, Nigeria's generosity didn't come didn't just start today. And Nigerians are known to be very generous. It didn't just start today. It started from the mother nation, Nigeria, our father nation, Nigeria. That's where our kind-heartedness comes from. People wonder why are Nigerians kind, why are Nigerians happy and polite. It came from our country. Our country instilled that giving spirit and attitude in our lives. And so today I can see that attitude of Nigerians, that good attitude, has been rubbished. Our politicians have replaced that totally with corruption and greed, which is so unfortunate, which is so horrible. By all we have done as a nation, we should have been one of the most respected nations in the world, not just in Africa. Like I said, Nigeria always shows workings. And after the apartheid regime was abolished, Nigeria didn't stop there. Nigeria still gave aid to South Africans to rebuild. That I know too well. Now, the South Africa aside, let's come to Liberia. When Liberia was having that heated civil war, in the midst of that war, at the heat of that war, the height of the war, Nigeria rallied around other African countries and established ECOMOG in West Africa. And even with ECOMOG, it wasn't just about coming together. Nigeria made sure that they pumped in a lot of resources and money, pumped in so much resources, both financial and manpower. And when when the US were trying to drag because the war was so heated, Nigeria said, look, if no nation was willing to go with us into that war, we are willing to intervene. And Nigeria sacrificed her troops. God bless Nigerian soldiers. God bless our troops. Nigeria, in that heat of the Liberian War, sent in soldiers into that war and quelled the crisis and made sure peace was restored in Liberia. It didn't end there. When Sierra Leone started, I remember Nigeria as well said, we are moving in. And Nigeria moved in with our soldiers and sacrificed so much men and resources to restore peace back to Sierra Leone. One of the elections we had, I was one of the monitors. One of the elections we had in the 2000s, and when I was at the polling unit, a Sierra Leonean was one of the foreign observers that came into the country, and there's something he told me that is still with me up until today. He said, "Look, young man, we are making sure that your election work. That is the little we can do to say thank you for what you did for us as Sierra Leoneans. That if not because of what Nigeria did for Sierra Leone, today Sierra Leone would have been still been in a mess. That because of Nigeria's effort and resources, Sierra Leone today have peace." Look, when he told me that, look, I became proud of Nigeria all over again, because we are not selfish. Nigeria sacrificed its best. There is currently, I think it's still going on, an exchange program where Nigeria send teachers of disciplines to different African countries to train them and build them up. These monies are being paid by Nigerian government. I think it's a 2 years program that they send people out to the country, to other African countries, develop them, train them, then the individuals come back to Nigeria. So because of our attitude and our acts, we should have been one of the most respected nations in the world today. But like I said, two groups of people have made it impossible. The politicians and those group of individuals that have made it a point to embarrass us online or offline across the world. If history is being taught in schools today, South Africans will have known that Nigeria holds a dear place in their hearts. But unfortunately, the Gen Zs, the post-1994 South Africans don't understand what Nigerians did for them. If they had known, I don't think today there will be xenophobic attacks against Nigerians. If they know, they won't be buying, looting Nigerians in South Africa. They'll be asking us to leave South Africa. If they knew what to sacrifice to make South Africa what it is today. But unfortunately, no one is telling the Gen Zs. In case you're a Gen Z today in South Africa and they don't tell you the truth, no one told you the truth, I'm telling you the truth today. Nigeria fought for your peace. Nigeria fought for your freedom. Nigeria fought for your liberation. So why turn against Nigerians today? Why turn against Nigerians today? It is so unfortunate that Africa is turning against Africans. Why are we doing that to ourselves? What brought us to this level? I live in the UK. I see how other Europeans have been treated here. No one has been asked, even not just Europeans, no one has been asked to, if you come here legally, nobody tells you to leave this country or you are doing this or you are doing that. No. Even though some few people come together and start to, do some on negative, what I call it, demonstrations. But you can imagine when that happened the other time, how the government clamped on the people immediately and imprisoned a lot of them, because that will not be tolerated. But I can see under the watch of Ramaphosa, or whatever his name is, he's watching xenophobic attack happen under his watch, and he's saying nothing. Silence is consent, for crying out loud. Being silent in the time of crisis is consent. And today, the same people that fought for your freedom, the same people that fought for your liberty, you turn against them. That is so sad and unfortunate. One mistake Nigeria made, I think, and I believe, was that when they fought for the freedom of South Africa, just like the US does, they should have established themselves even post the apartheid. Because if they have done that the way they did in Liberia, because when they finished in Liberia, the Liberian government asked them to please stay behind and run their military for them, run the government. Basically, Nigeria was running the Liberian government for a long time. Because I remember then the chief of defense and everything stayed back, are Nigerians in the military. So Nigeria became a part and parcel of Liberia and Sierra Leone, and that's why today they are still respected in those countries. If Nigeria has stood back and helped them to establish some of their infrastructure or some of their system in the government, I don't think today they are forgetting all the sacrifices Nigerians made towards their liberty and their freedom. It's so sad and so absurd that we Africans are fighting ourselves because of geographical boundaries and borders drawn by someone from the West. Who is doing this to us? And coming back home, our politicians should have done enough damage. Please fix our country. Fix Nigeria. No one in the diaspora is happy being in the diaspora. No one wants to remain here with our country remaining undeveloped. I can imagine how many Nigerians have left that will have added value to Nigeria. But because the system created by the politicians is unsafe for them anymore, a lot of talents have left. Before leaving Nigeria, I knew the project I was on, using my brain to develop them when I was back home in the country. But because the level of insecurity and because of the situation, I had to leave to come here. So I can imagine if just me alone, knowing what I was when I was back home in Nigeria. I remember I can imagine what other professionals are also thinking right now. Fix the country, make us great again. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I remember very well. Most people that traveled out to study abroad didn't remain abroad because they felt there's something here. Home is the best. Nigeria was doing well, and when they get back home, they get something doing, they get good jobs, well-paying jobs, and they're comfortable living back home in Nigeria and adding to their Nigeria's growth. But today, you see, the politicians have rubbished everything. No one is safe anymore in the country. No one is containing the country. I was having a chat with some group of Nigerians recently, and they said, look, architect, if the government can just fix one thing, or at most two, I'm boarding the next flight back to Nigeria. And what are those two things? Fix security, fix the energy sector, let there be light. That's it. Everybody will come back home. And when they come back home with all what we have learned here in the West, Nigeria will be very, very great. I can assure you that, 100%. So my plea today to the government is, please, fix our country. Let our green passport be great again. When our flag is being waved, the green, white, and green flag, let our pride and honor be at its highest. We are all committed to watch Nigeria grow and to see Nigeria grow. But that all depends on you, the politicians who currently rule the country. I believe and I know that once Nigeria becomes great, we don't need to travel to South Africa. Why should we go to South Africa? To do what? We don't need to go to Ghana. If we are going there just because of brotherhood and friendship, not because we want to go and make a livelihood from those countries. If Nigeria is great again, everybody will come back home. Instead of Nigerians going abroad, people from other parts of the world will come to Nigeria for tourism and for other jobs. So please, I beg you politicians, fix Nigeria. And all those who are online or offline, creating bad image to Nigeria, please, I urge you to desist. I urge you to desist. It's a plea. Do the honorable jobs. I know for sure Nigeria will be great again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification button as well. See you in my next video. God bless you. And God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.